There are things in this world you were never meant to see. Things so terrible they shouldn't even exist. And sometimes those things find you when you least expect it, ripping open the fabric of reality itself. This story was sent to me by our author. It was too good not to share, so please enjoy. Also, if you like extra terrifying tales, check out my other content where I publish extra scary stories every week. John lived alone in a drafty old house. It was big, creaky, and cheap, perfect for someone who just needed a place to lay his head and didn't care about anything else. John fell into this category. After losing his job and his wife leaving him, he packed what little he could into some boxes and moved into the home. He didn't care about decorating or fixing things, he just wanted a roof over his head. That made the constant creaking and moaning of the house all the more unnerving. Every time something fell or shifted, he jumped, convinced it was something trying to get in. One night he was awoken from a dead sleep by what sounded like a knock on his back door. John sat up in bed, heart pounding. His room was at the front of the house. The back door was at least 2 rooms away. How could he have possibly heard a knock? He tried to convince himself it was just a branch scraping against the door in the wind, but a prickle of unease remained at the back of his neck. Maybe it was just a branch. Days turned into weeks, and the knocking never came again. But John never forgot the sound. It still echoed around his mind at night, keeping him up, making him twitchy. Then one night, 3 months after the first knock, it happened again. John was awoken precisely at 3:03 a.m. by a sharp rap on his back door. Whoever, whatever it was, had returned. This time, though, John got out of bed and crept to the door. He strained to listen, heart hammering against his ribs. Another rap came, then another. Whatever it was impatient. Was it some deranged person who had been let out of an institution? Some maniac who lived in the woods behind his home, hunting for prey? His mind raced with possibilities, none of them good. Then a whisper cut through the wood, slithering down the keyhole and into his mind. "John," it hissed, "let me in." Frozen with fear, John could only stare at the doorknob. What was it? Why did it know his name? Was he in danger? Just then, the whispering stopped, and when John blinked, the knob slowly turned. He screamed, backing away as the door swung open, revealing nothing but darkness. There wasn't even a sliver of light peeking through a crack. It was as if the door led to a void, a gaping maw in reality itself. Terror lent speed to John's feet. He scrambled back into his bedroom, slammed the door shut, and bolted it. He paced frantically, the whispering echoing in his mind. "John, let me in." He tried to tell himself it was just the wind, some animal outside, but deep down, he knew it wasn't. Whatever was out there wanted in. Sleep seemed impossible after that. John spent most of his nights staring at the ceiling, listening intently for any sound. He started seeing things, too. At first, it was just glimpses, shadows in his peripheral vision. But then he began seeing full figures. Sometimes it was his wife, her back to him as she walked up the stairs or sat at the kitchen table eating. Other times it was his mother, holding his childhood teddy bear. But when he turned to get a good look at her, she would evaporate. These apparitions made him desperately ill with fear, but they were nothing compared to what came next. Footsteps echoed in the dead of night, loud, heavy footsteps that shook the floorboards. John would sit frozen, listening as they approached his bedroom. Then he would hear a click, the distinct sound of someone turning on his bedside lamp, followed by a whispered voice. "Hello, John." When the footsteps came again, he would throw himself on the floor, pressing his face against the carpet. And when he looked up, the apparition was gone. The lamp was off and the room was silent. But as soon as he turned to look away, he would hear the footsteps coming closer. "John," the voice would rasp, "I'm coming for you." One morning, John got out of bed to find black, wet handprints smeared across the wall next to his bed. They looked like the handprints of a small child, but how could they have gotten there? He was the only person in the house. Was he going crazy? The knocks on the door grew louder, more insistent. Every night they came, rapping sharply, sometimes urgently. Once, John swore the thing outside was trying the door handle. He heard the click of the deadbolt being tested, then the scrape of the door as if someone had kicked it. Terror turned to despair. John knew he couldn't go on like this forever. He had to confront whatever was out there, even if it killed him. So one night, he waited until the knocks began, then slowly got out of bed. The footsteps were close now, right outside his bedroom door. John put his ear to it, listening as it drew closer. "John," the voice whispered, scratching at the wood. "Let me in. Please, John. I want to come inside." Suddenly, the door burst open and John screamed, throwing himself off the bed. But it was too late. Whatever was out there had already slipped inside. The creature stood silhouetted against the light from the hallway. John strained to make out its features, but it seemed to twist and shift like smoke, taking on different shapes. It glided closer, and John recoiled as it stepped out of the light. For a moment it paused, seeming to regard him. Then it spoke. Its voice was raspy, like nails on a chalkboard, yet somehow familiar. "You finally decided to let me in," it said, its tone dripping with mock sweetness. "I was wondering if you'd ever open the door for me. I've been waiting so long." John stared back, unable to tear his gaze from the grotesque thing before him. As it took another step forward, he saw more clearly. It was humanoid in shape, but twisted and warped, like a funhouse mirror image. Where flesh should have been, there was only exposed muscle and bone. And instead of a face, there was a gaping maw filled with rows upon rows of razor-sharp teeth. John wanted to scream, to run, to do anything but stand there paralyzed with fear. But the creature only smiled wider, baring its fangs. Then it lunged. John screamed as the creature pounced, sinking its claws into his flesh. Sharp pain exploded in his chest and he collapsed, his scream dying in his throat. The creature pulled back, revealing the shredded mess beneath its claws. Blood poured out of the wound, staining the carpet crimson. The creature licked its lips, savoring the coppery taste. "You're warm," it purred, its voice a sickeningly sweet whisper in John's ear. "So alive! I haven't tasted blood in so long." As John lay there, the creature leaned closer, its hot, fetid breath washing over him. "Whatever happens," it rasped, its voice echoing strangely within John's skull, "don't open the door. Don't open the door no matter what you hear. Don't open the door." But John had already opened the door, and now the creature was free to roam the earth once more. The screen fades to black, leaving only the sound of heavy breathing and inhuman snarling.